This is AUGforums.com Real Talk, an unfiltered, independent perspective on Acumatica Cloud ERP. My name is Tim Rodman, and I want to mention three things in this pre-recorded intro before we get started. First, thank you to our sponsors. Our first sponsor is Repay. Repay offers omni-channel integrated payment solutions for Acumatica users. Whether you are making B2B payments or collecting them, Repay is your full-service payments provider. Power up your payments to empower your business and accelerate the AP and AR payment flow through one seamless integration. Our second sponsor is DataSelf. DataSelf Analytics is a revolutionary reporting solution that enables organizations to make the most informed decisions faster and easier than ever. It uniquely simplifies business intelligence, empowers anyone to build and access dashboards, and delivers critical business insight when and where you need it. Our third sponsor is Velixo. Velixo is an award-winning provider of Excel-based reporting solutions for Acumatica. With Velixo, you can build financial, project, and other business reports in Excel with live Acumatica data in just a few minutes and get the answers you need. If you know Excel, you can do it. Please take a minute to support this podcast by clicking each one of the sponsor banners located at augforums.com/sponsors. Our sponsors track clicks, and every click helps to support this podcast. The second thing I'd like to mention is that I'm always looking for victims. Guests. If you use Acumatica in any capacity, no matter how small, I'd love to talk with you. Check out augforums.com/podcast and click the link near the top of the page to learn more about being a guest on the podcast. Third and finally, I'd love to see you listed on my Rolodex. Check out augforums.com/Rolodex to find out who else is using Acumatica and read the instructions at the top to see how you can add yourself to the list. All right, that's it for the pre-recorded intro. Let's get started. I did a total of 18 interviews with people at Summit, and I'm dividing those 18 interviews into 4 parts, 4 separate podcast episodes, just so each episode won't be too long. Today is Tuesday, January 25th, 2022, and this is episode number 65, Acumatica Summit 2022, Interviews Part 4. Hey, Gustavo, thanks for taking a few minutes here. I'll let you start off by introducing yourself, who you work for, and what you do there.
Hi there, Tim. So my name is Gustavo Carrasquillo. I'm a solutions developer for Blanco Group. That's a building materials company. So we have like this 5 subset of different companies for paints and coatings, lacquers, concrete products. So it's a great place to be. So the building materials industry is right now doing well.
And I forget, have you been to Summit before, or is this your first one?
No, this is my first one. Actually, and it's been a great experience.
Awesome. So you've been on a previous podcast episode, but I'm trying to remember,
Yeah.
Is it Puerto Rico, or where do you live?
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Puerto Rico.
I didn't mention it. I do live in Puerto Rico, so we don't have Acumatica in Puerto Rico yet. But yeah, our headquarters are there. Our Acumatica operation is in Lanco, Chile, Lanco, Jamaica. We are starting with the US now, so yeah.
Okay, cool. And the manufacturing side of things, maybe you could give us an update, like from our last podcast, of how things are going for you there.
So right now, we are mainly focused on the retail, we've been growing our retail locations. We have like 14 or 17 now. We're planning to go 20. So we are just replacing the whole ERP for our retail division, plus the retail, the POS retail for the stores. So that's our main focus right now. But we are building 2 manufacturing plants, one in Chile, and the next one will be Jamaica. So we will definitely take advantage of the manufacturing addition soon.
Okay, cool. So what about breakout sessions? Was that on your radar, or were you in more of the retail? What'd you go take a look at?
So it was great. We had this breakout session about machine learning and AI just recently. Here at the summit, we got a chance to see some of the futuristic features, like the guys they like to say, um, and it's a great experience so far. Like there's a lot that has improved, like starting from the mobile application is just new stuff everywhere. So Acumatica is definitely maturing, and they are in the right direction, definitely.
What about the summit experience in general? Maybe was there anything that surprised you, or like what that you weren't expecting, or what's your favorite thing? Maybe tell us about
So
summit in general.
yeah, so summit has been great. To be completely honest with you, I couldn't came to I didn't come to the last moment. I was a little worried about the COVID, but the
Yeah.
protocol, like, it's great. So this is full, but we have like social distancing between chairs. Like I just took my mask off for this interview, but everyone has their mask on. Food is great. Like the security, like everything is great. It's a great experience. Everybody's respecting the rules, and just having the social distancing, and things are going really well, really well.
Can you give us a 360 pan around the hallway that you're in, or wherever you're
Oh,
at there?
oh yeah, yeah, definitely. So yeah,
Oh, nice.
this is on the way to. Oh yeah, that's
Looks
Steve
nice.
Rotman. Yeah, yeah, and so this is the view here for the
Nice.
win, and there's more people just coming in from that direction.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
So
Yeah. It
yeah,
looks
yeah.
spacious. Looks like you have a lot
Yeah.
of room to move around.
There's a lot of room. So
Awesome.
as you saw, there's people, but everyone is like in their place. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And there's probably, it seems like there's good airflow because you got the hallways and outside spaces, and
yeah.
it doesn't look like you're cooped up in a small, tight
Oh
space
no,
there.
no, no,
That's nice.
definitely no, definitely no. So I think they even got more rooms than they were planning. Like we have like the whole hotel. The crystal room 1, 2, 3. So they just took the three of them to keep the social distancing. And
Oh,
there's a
okay.
lot of breakout sessions, and there's a lot of places to go. So the only downside with it is that, well, you get to do more exercise because you have to work more. But that
Sounds like
part
an
is a
upside to
great.
me.
Yeah, it's an upside. It's an upside, really.
That's
So
nice.
it's great. Yeah.
Awesome. What about give us one or two things that you've learned in the last couple days that you didn't know before?
Well, I learned about the sitemap for the mobile application. I didn't know that could be modified. So
Oh,
so I
okay.
learned, and I, like, immediately at the breakout session, I just fixed some stuff that I needed to fix from my actual position, right? So I wanted to display some boards in the mobile application that I wasn't displaying before. So as soon as I learned it, I just fixed it. Um, uh, we already learned about the new features that Acumatica is bringing up with 2201.
Yeah.
Those are great. I had the experience. I was on the hackathon. I don't know if I told
Oh,
you.
you did. How late were you up Saturday
Yeah,
night?
yeah. It's midnight. It was until midnight.
Okay, that's not too
Actually,
bad actually.
yeah. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. So it was mainly cybersecurity focused. Like, out of 11 teams, like 7 teams or 8 teams, they did something related to cybersecurity. And with the
Oh,
ransomware and all this stuff these days is just a
yeah.
normal thing to do. My team, we went like on a different direction. We went more thinking about globalization and how the digital world's moving right now, and how we have a lot of non-English speaking countries. So we just translated the whole Acumatica environment to Swedish just to impress them, because it's a manual process right now. You have to pull the strings manually and go like word by word, and it takes a lot of time. So we just used the API and do some stuff with Google Translate, and like two
Oh,
seconds or so, you could just translate the page.
oh,
That
that's kind
that
of
was our
cool.
project. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting. How was the experience in general at the hackathon? Was it a fun
oh,
experience? Something you'd do again?
yeah, yeah, definitely. So they treat us very well at the hackathon. Like we had drinks, food, snacks all the time. They really took good care of us. You do like a lot of networking. You meet peers there. So I was with Spanish speaking people too. I was with one guy from Mexico, the other one's from Venezuela, and the other one's from Ecuador.
Okay.
And the lead developer, he was the farthest away. He's from Sri Lanka, so that guy he flew like 30 hours to get here, and
Wow.
his time difference, the time zone
Oh,
is 14 hours. So the first day
oh,
for him was awful,
oh,
but yeah,
ouch.
but so we did a lot of networking, and when the summit started at the marketplace, I already knew some of the people, and that's a great thing, right? Because
Yeah.
you can just yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the hackathon is not about winning the hackathon. It's about hanging out
No,
and getting to know people.
definitely,
That's really what it's
definitely,
about. The
definitely,
trophy
and
is just
prices
kind
were
of a
great. Yeah,
and
but the
what?
prices were great. The prices were great. They gave away an Oculus, like virtual
Okay.
reality headset. They gave up a microphone headset, like for gamers,
Okay.
and and a 4K projector.
Okay.
That was
Oh, that
actually a nice one. Yeah,
those are nice prizes there. Yeah,
yeah,
so
definitely.
I'm not saying it wouldn't be nice to win. I'm just saying even if you don't win a
Yeah.
prize, it's still worth going there, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's totally worth it. It's totally worth it. Like the experience, you have a lot of fun. If you like what you do, you learn like a lot. So I can teach people stuff that I know and they don't, and vice versa.
Yeah.
They teach me a lot of stuff. I had the opportunity to work with Acumatica developers and other
Yeah.
ISVs developers too. So yeah, it's definitely a great experience.
Awesome. Well, I hope I get to make it to the next one next year. Sounds like it'll
Oh,
be in the same
definitely,
place. What are you thinking
definitely.
about next year so far?
Well, I think I'll be here. Yeah, it's not
How
something
many
to
came?
mince, you know.
How many came from your
No,
company total?
so I'm by myself. I'm by
Okay.
myself. So Lisandro just told me, hey, I want you to have the experience this year. We can
Yeah.
always go together to another summit, but go ahead, just take the opportunity. So I'm by myself right now.
Oh, so maybe we can make the pitch to your boss right now. What are some reasons why you should be coming back there next year?
Definitely, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, you can send him this video and he can see how happy you are.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just send me the link.
What about, I
And
want to go back to breakout sessions. Like what was there?
okay.
So you mentioned the mobile site map. Was there anything else that you got out of a breakout session that you can remember right now?
Well, most of the breakout sessions I did, at least on my side, they were like the development tools and on the
Ah,
developer side. So
okay.
I learned to deal with the platform and coding outside and how to push the data into Acumatica or extract it, transform it,
Oh,
load it. So it was pretty interesting, definitely.
I
Um,
forgot that you're getting that far. I'm remembering now that
yeah.
you're almost like turning into Mr. Developer for your company.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay. Did
So basically, I was on the development team like the whole. So being on the hackathon too, like you
yeah,
network and then you take the
yeah.
sessions together, and it's great. It's great.
I feel like Summit is even more important for a developer because of the fact that there's so many Acumatica developers there, and that's the only time
Hmm.
you ever get to interact with them because the rest of the year they're coding. It's not like they're hanging out on social
Exactly.
media or answering a ton of email. Yeah, that's the location to interact with other developers. Okay. Oh,
Exactly.
awesome.
And so far, so the summit they have these additional activities that you get like to get some fresh air. Like I've have the opportunity to exercise like every day because
Nice.
before the hackathon we had the Red Rock hike. I don't know if you've been there,
I saw some
but we
pictures
went
about
there.
that. Yeah, it
Yeah, we
looked
went
nice.
there. It was a nice place to be. Then we had yoga yesterday. Today was a morning run in Las Vegas Boulevard. So there's always something to do besides the summit. Um, Yesterday's party it was just awesome. Yeah,
That's
it was
awesome. It
supposed
sounds
to
like
end. Yeah, yeah, it was
You
supposed
took
to.
advantage of the
Yeah,
full experience there. That's awesome.
definitely. Oh, definitely, definitely. So it's totally worth it. Coming to Summit
Awesome.
is totally worth it. Like you get to network with the people, virtually, like we're doing right now. But just being in person with someone, like you can just take out your computer. Hey, check this out. This is what I did, or whatever. And
Yeah.
it's a great way of doing things. Definitely.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for taking the time. I got to run to another interview, so I'm going to sign
Definitely.
off.
Okay.
Enjoy the rest of your
Yeah.
time there. I hope to see you
Take
next
care.
year.
Nice to see
All
you.
right.
Bye bye. Take
See ya.
care.
Hey, Steven, thanks for squeezing me in before you head out to the airport. I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself, who you are, who you work for, and what you do there.
All right, thanks, Tim. Yeah, pleasure to be here. Stephen Hennelly, I'm a senior Acumatica consultant for Blytheco. I've been involved with them now for about 18 months. But as some people know, I've been involved with the Acumatica product since 2012. So I bring a lot of experience around in manufacturing. Worked with Joss Systems for a few years, so I know probably a handful of you out there know of that product and what it's become in the manufacturing. So I've been really heavily involved with that over the years. And Tim and I, it's a pleasure to be here. We kind of get lunch every once in a while back home, and so it's always great to see you digitally. But hopefully soon we can see face to face.
Yeah, I'm getting more. The more and more of these interviews I'm doing, I'm getting more and more optimistic about going next year. Despite whatever the virus is at, seems like we're learning to live with it. We can't pause our lives forever, right?
Nope,
Seems
nope.
like, yeah, seems like it's been a good summit.
Yep, we're making it through, and I'm just putting on my little hat that shows that we're from Blytheco. I got to make sure I wear that, otherwise I'll be probably turned down by my CEO here. But yeah, it's people are addressing it and people are dealing with it. It's a little bit different take. Everyone's wearing masks for the most part, and but it's been very good interaction. People, good sessions and breakout sessions, good discussions between partners and ISVs. It's been a very good summit, and I think a lot of people are real excited to new versions coming out, and it's I think we're kind of making a turn on this hopefully, and really push forward. So it's been really good.
Being around since 2012, it's hard to surprise you with anything, but is there at least anything that you learned that you didn't know before the last couple of days at Summit?
Yeah, so some of the new technology things coming out. One of the things I was kind of really impressed and was talking with some coworkers about is this UI path, where there's a lot of kind of automated processing. You can build lots of different functions, call screens and generic inquiries and do processes just by small little coding that you can write into the software that will connect with Acumatica. I thought that's just such a really good opportunity to just develop even more solutions around what Acumatica can already do. So seeing stuff like that, I mean, as you've probably seen, Tim, over the years, it's just, they come out with new things all the time, and it's just shocking to see what they have. It's fantastic. Such a great technology company, and that's why I've been doing it since 2012. I just, I love it. So
I'm glad you brought up UiPath. I actually got to do a little UiPath work for a client, and it's really cool because you just press the record and then it'll record all your actions on. Usually, I think it's great for interacting with another web system, and then you can edit it after that. But it's very graphical, very intuitive. I see a lot of potential there. The pricing is a little higher than I would like it to be, but it's a cool product, fun to work with.
Yeah, but it's definitely one of those, pricing is one thing, but if you can sell on value, it's really about what can that deliver as far as automation for those businesses that are going to look for it. So it's, the wheels started turning, as they
and
say.
If you're replacing a person, or at least part of a person, that's that makes the pricing seem almost non-existent. Yeah,
exactly. Especially wherever that person might be in the country, right? You might get a really good discount, something like that. So no, that really impressed me, and probably some of the new technology, the .NET Core, seeing that and the speed that's going to bring, and definitely have customers, and probably sure you've run into them over the years, of just slow internet speeds, also then compound with slow processing speeds, and usually some problems here and there of just slowness, and to see that instantaneous, just popping up of thousands of records of data, and without even looking like it's loading, is just it's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
That was amazing. I know I know, like Dynamics 365, it's Business Central specifically. I've been in there, and it's slower than current Acumatica. Now that refresh that we saw this morning was way faster. I mean, they got a long ways to go to catch Acumatica on just speed and efficiency of the code.
Oh, unbelievable. That's going to be a game changer, I think. And just being able to get processes done, be able to execute mass, updates, do larger volume orders and being able to process those quickly is just going to be, and then the data. I mean, especially one of the things we run into over the years of just having your static data, production orders, sales orders, just trying to load that initial primary list right on that front end sometimes can just take an extra 10, 15 seconds. You wouldn't like it, where it could be done immediately. Doing that, 20 times a day, you're going to save a lot of time over the years, and just by having something as simple as up-to-date technology code, which Acumatica is good at doing.
Yeah, especially in manufacturing environments that you're used to dealing with. Seconds, every second matters, right? So yeah, that's really important.
Yep.
How about awards? I heard Blytheco got an award. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah. So actually, we got second year in a row, Partner of the Year. So we were, of course, nominated for it and won. And like to say it's because of me, but since I've been on board, we've won 2 now, and really our company has just made a total turn in the last couple of years to, we put forth as many resources as possible on the Acumatica side, consultants, business analysts, developers, and everywhere in between, project managers, to help drive more services, help deliver better products, within Acumatica. Still deal with Sage and some other products as well, and do that extremely well. But Acumatica for us right now, is growing exponentially. This last year we had quite a bit in sales, and so it's been good to be recognized for that. And it was a great feeling as a group.
Awesome.
I know we've all worked hard to do it. So really, really good.
Is there any superstition surrounding the hats, since you've been wearing the hats and you're winning the awards? So you're making sure to wear those hats every year at Summit now?
Yeah, we might have to, right? If we're going to go for a third, yeah. And it's the same hat. I haven't got a new one yet, so I got to make sure this one, makes its way back. But no, I think we're just going to keep working hard again next year. And we know if we stick to our budgets and work as well as we did in the past years, keep growing, we have a good chance to win 3 in a row next year too. And we're going to strive hard to do that for sure.
Well, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you think you'll be able to make it out to the user group here in Columbus, Ohio in about a month?
Yes, most certainly. Yep. I know my total intent is to come out there and see yourself and see the co-hatch and yeah, looking forward to it. Any reason to get out of the house at this point will be a blessing.
Yeah, we'll have to do another city barbecue lunch as well.
I look forward to that. I need some more cowbell, right? But those that don't know, that's a special sandwich at City Barbecue. Is really good. So
that's right. Special stuff at City Barbecue. More cowbell.
Exactly.
Hey, thanks for taking the time. I know you got a flight to catch. Thanks for squeezing me in and giving us. You want to give us a little 360 of the hallway you ducked into? We get another angle of the win here.
Yeah. So that's nothing, but really what you want to see is. So I kind of, and then that's down there, nice. And you have the event is kind of down there and to the right, and then there's more rooms that are down there, and then you'd head this way back to the casino and to the hotel. So lots of walking, lots and lots of walking. But yeah, it's another great event. They're going to have it again next year in the Win. They've already announced that as well. So everybody will be looking forward to that, and hoping next year we'll have even more people. They had Mike C here, so that was good. Having some people still traveling. So hoping that will just continue to get better over the years, and we'll see more and more people. Hopefully yourself.
Did you get to see your brother Brendan there this year?
Oh, of course. Oh, I flew in with him, and then we were hanging out and all that stuff. And for those that don't know, my brother worked at Joss Systems and is a developer at Acumatica. So he, yeah, of course, we live in the same town and get to see each other. It was great. It was a good weekend all around.
Well, hey, thanks again for taking the time, and have a safe flight back.
All right, thanks, Tim. I'll see you shortly.
All right,
Talk
see
to you later.
soon.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
Lawrence, one of the probably the smartest consultant I've ever worked with. Thanks for taking the time at Summit. I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself, who you work for, and what you do there.
First of all, thanks for the compliment, Tim. My name is Lawrence Gilliam. I'm a solution architect at the Next Tech Group based in our Los Angeles office, and I've known Tim for quite a while.
Awesome. Yeah, I never got to. I got to ask you first about your running these days. I can't remember your target. It was something like, I know you've run a marathon, and I think your target was like hitting the weight that you were at 18 years old. Is that what it was?
So that was a kind of a secondary goal during the pandemic, was to get down to college weight, and I did achieve that. But the big goal was to qualify for the Boston Marathon. So I'm happy ecstatic, head over heels to say that I actually achieved that goal this year. So I'll be running Boston in April. So it's
Wow.
been a
That's
goal since
amazing.
1999. The key is you just got to keep running. The time cutoff gets easier as you get older. So if you just keep running,
Just keep going, huh?
just keep at it long enough, you'll eventually make it. So
Well,
I
that's
finally made
impressive.
it.
I've always looked up to you not only as a consultant, but as a person who knows how to balance consulting with life. You know, the way you were able to coach your son's baseball team, the way you're able to keep your running going and survive for decades in mid-market ERP consulting is just really impressive to me. I've always looked up to you for that.
Well, thanks, Tim. And it's like I think we've had plenty of conversations about this. I mean, you just have to have that balance, right? So that's one of the things that's really great about this profession, though. If you can find projects that are interesting, they keep you motivated to stay up on the latest technologies, the latest best practices. But also, because we often are in control of a lot of, if we're really doing things the way that we should, we can actually have some sanity to our lives, and we have space for some of the other things that are important.
That's awesome. So what then about, with that kind of mindset, is there any special approach that you have when you go to an Acumatica summit? How do you game plan for what you're going to accomplish there?
Right. So I mean, really the primary thing that I try to do when I get to a summit is to connect with people that I typically would only see in an email stream, or maybe on a Zoom call or a Teams call, just to press the flesh with folks, because so much of the value in this is just about the community, right? And so that's my first thing is, you come to registration, you look forward to that opening reception with all of the ISVs, where you really get a chance to drill deep into some of the new improvements in some of the ISV products that you work with, and even new ones that you haven't heard of yet, and also run into folks that you've got battle wounds with. So that's like my first thing, and then you look at the session list, right, and you look forward to the keynotes, and you look forward specifically to my favorite part of the keynotes are always the technology briefs, and the forward-thinking technology, and Acumatica is always great about that, right? And then this year I took a little bit of a different path, though. So because I'm responsible for a lot of different prospects at Next Tech, I'm always looking to get backfill information on industries or verticals that I'm not necessarily natively strong in. So I usually spend the majority of my time doing that at Summit, but this time I kind of just played it by ear and with just interesting sessions. Yeah.
So would you say how do you handle the sessions? Do you try to pack sessions in during the day, or do you like intentionally skip some sessions just to give you more people time?
No, I hate missing the sessions. So
I'm the
I like
same way.
yeah. So I will give up lunch, or hang around the floor even as it closes, to make sure that I talk to people, but I don't like to miss the sessions.
Any standout sessions so far that you've been in? Anything you learned that you didn't know before?
So I actually found Joy's AI ML session interesting, just because we see it slowly making its way into the product, but some of the thinking around how Acumatica approaches implementing AI, selecting the right technology, and then thinking about where do we roll it out. I think it's just pretty interesting to think about that.
So this is a breakout. You're not talking about the keynote this morning.
Not the keynote. No, this was
Oh.
there was actually an AI ML 45-minute session where they
You
kind of
got a
went
few
through
bullet points that you could give us from that session?
You know what? Let's see. I actually might. Let me just. I keep all this stuff in OneNote. Let me pull up. What did I write down? Actually, no. So really, the takeaway for me is they kind of had this slide around how they think about which technologies to pick, and different competing. I guess you could call them. They're not really constraints, but they're things to think about when you're trying to pick the right ML engine, or when you're trying to solve a problem, um, with data that's changing, and maybe even ML engines that are adapting. And I don't know enough about it to be intelligent on it yet, but I find it fascinating that we're at a stage now where we're actually starting to see this stuff make it in the products. Like,
Yeah, I've always liked the slide where Acumatica would have their office location compared to Amazon's headquarters and Microsoft's headquarters. And I think the whole point in that slide is that they're not married to one or the other. They get to pick or choose on a case by case basis. And it sounds like,
right.
are you saying that it's not all, they're not all in on one engine for machine learning? They pick and choose depending on the situation?
Exactly. And even, and one of the things that I think Joy mentioned in today's call is like, even on like the AP document recognition engine, they made a shift. So when they initially released it, they had one back end engine servicing that functionality, and they pivoted and they're for better accuracy and faster performance. So
oh, interesting. Do you remember? Yeah. So the last I knew, I think it was Azure Forms. Is that still what it is, or is that the old one?
They moved to Azure, I think.
Okay.
And they moved away from something called text. I think it had text in the title.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. That I'm always surprised when Acumatica does. On the one hand, I kind of roll my eyes at the whole future-proof saying, but on the other hand, when they do stuff like re-architect the product in .NET Core, you're like, okay, maybe they're not playing around here, right? And same there, they're not afraid to change things even midstream on something. That's interesting.
And I think that's core to how they think about the world, right? And it's not rocket science, right? If you build on solid foundation, one, that's important, but two, you gotta evaluate that from time to time, and you got to be thinking about, it was a great foundation for 6 years ago, but is it going to be a great foundation, 5 years from now? And so, and I love the fact that they continue to make those types of investments. I mean, it just kind of drives my techie spirit that, that the platform is the strongest piece of the whole puzzle,
There's a good Lawrence Gilliam quote right there. It's not rocket science.
I mean, it's right. It's sometimes the most obvious stuff, right? You don't get it right. It's just stuff that's staring you in the face that all companies should think about, and they don't for some reason. Other priorities come in, and other motives take you away from things that you would just think are common sense, right? In terms of
but I wonder if too, a lot of it just has to do with the culture and the community that Acumatica has built. People are not expecting the thing to look the same 10 years from now. And we just have a higher tolerance of things changing. And when they do change, we just assume that they're changing for the better because they've kind of built that trust with us, right? So we're just kind of used to a moving target and a huge list of release notes every version. And maybe that's the kind of customers they attract. And so they're allowed to move. They have that latitude to move faster with their improvements in the product.
I think you're right on the head there. I think that's a great point. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, hey, anything like Next Tech specific that you guys did at the summit that you got going on this coming year?
So, as always, we always look forward to hosting our existing customers and prospects. So we were able to do that on Saturday. Was that Saturday? No, that was Sunday. We were able to do that on Sunday. We happy to be President's Club again. We were finalist partner of the year. So that was big for us. Looking forward to actually, finally making it on the stage as partner of the year next year. We had a lot of great momentum this year. And so I see it on my side just by the sheer number of opportunities and new businesses that I get introduced to and I get to work with on a weekly basis. And our consultant team is they're full bore, fully utilized. So that's always a good thing. So.
Yeah, I think that's a common story. COVID was very kind to Acumatica in terms of new deals, and now I would assume you're either in the middle or you're still on the front end of all that work that got queued up in 2021. I'm sure there's still a lot going on the consulting side.
Yeah, well, we saw the avalanche really towards the summer and fall of last year, and that just continued through the winter, the year end. And I've already been out traveling on 3 visits this year. So good to be back out in the field, actually seeing some of these companies. And it's the momentum is definitely carrying.
And did you make it, I forget, to the summit in July?
Yeah, I was here in July. Okay. Actually, my wife was able to come as well because she's a teacher, so summer events are perfect for her. So she came out, and it was we had a good time. And I actually like this resort. I mean, the wind is pretty awesome in terms of a place to have an event like this. So
it looks pretty relaxing, which I like. Not the intense Vegas strip scene that a
definitely
lot of places I like.
Definitely, it's definitely because you're down, I guess north, on the north end of the strip. So you're away from a lot of the, the hot spots in the middle. And you can actually like walk out of here and like we did the Acumatica fun run this morning. So you literally make one turn and you're just running around the golf course.
Nice.
So it's, yeah.
That sounds great. Enjoy
And
that sunshine.
I'm not really a Vegas person, but I can do
Yeah,
it.
me neither.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Hey, thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know we were kind of exchanging text messages there. Thanks for jumping on, giving us a flavor. Yeah. Any final thoughts you want to leave us with?
No. Hope I'll see you soon in person.
Yeah, likewise. I hope I get to make it out there next year.
Yeah. I guess they've already announced us back here, so we'll be back in Vegas.
Yeah, awesome.
Well,
Can
good,
you give
man.
us a quick? Can you give us a
Go ahead.
360 tour of your room there? I'm trying to get like views of the Wynn. Or
so
give us a
we'll
view
see.
out your window.
Yeah. So
Oh, there you go. Oh,
yeah,
nice.
so that's a golf course out there, right? And airport's back that way. What's cool
That's
is
big.
every now and then the planes take off right in that direction, so they literally make a U-turn right over the hotel here. So
Nice. Well, it looks like a good spot. With each interview, I think it's more likely I'm going to have the guts to get out there next year. So
come
thanks
on
for
out,
taking
man.
the time.
Yeah, you should definitely make it back out for the next one.
Awesome. Hey, great to see you, Lawrence. Thanks for taking the time.
All right, Tim. Talk to you later.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Just in case there's someone watching this who doesn't know who you are, I'll let you introduce yourself, who you work for, and what you do there.
Sure, Tim. Hey, everyone. It's Jon Roskill here. I am the CEO of Acumatica and coming to you live from the Wynn Casino Resort in Las Vegas, where we're hosting the Acumatica Summit 2022. And I was joking with Tim earlier. I'm sitting here in front of, it's been such a successful summit. I've purchased a Picasso. So, but no, this is the Wynn Resort is very nicely set up, and this is a conference room we were able to grab.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for taking the time, and maybe you could give us the Jon Roskill recap of Summit.
Yeah, and it's been a great summit. These things are, of course, somewhat exhausting to the team, but I think everybody's been really excited about the feedback we've been getting from the customers and the partners here. I arrived a week ago, so I've been in Las Vegas literally for a week on Tuesday, and I just went outside for like 3 minutes, and so during the whole week I've been outside for fresh air, maybe a total of 10 minutes or something. I guess last night I was technically outside at the party for a while, but so it's been a summit that's focused around the release of 2022 R1. And someone asked me earlier today to, highlight the one thing on 2022 R1. And, what I said is, I think you used to be able to do that on our releases, but it's quite difficult these days because we have such, significant teams working on all of these modules. And so, what I kind of did is instead I said, let's look across the major modules, and I'd say, manufacturing, Debbie showed off and a set of manufacturing dashboards that we've just shipped with this release. And in particular, I'd highlight the production dashboard, which I think is really, really cool. And it's being designed with input from half a dozen customers that are all using it. So that's always a good thing.
Is that the meeting one, the production meeting one that you're talking about?
Sorry, say it again. The
production meeting, I think it was. Like it was designed for taking to a production meeting, if I remember right.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could use it there. You could just use it for
cool.
Analyzing what's going on with your whole production line, right? So let's see, distribution, blanket sales orders. That's what Deborah showed today, and I think it got pretty good response there. If you go to retail commerce, Josh, we showed some cool things, but it would have to be the Amazon connector there and Amazon business, which is something that I think all of us are likely using, whether we know it or not. And then construction, I would say it was the announcement of the acquisition of IBS Imperium and the fact that we now have the Acumatica property management module, and that was very exciting to people, not just in the construction space, but we have a lot of businesses that own land they're building things, and then they're managing them. And so it lets Acumatica serve that full market end to end, which is exciting. And then, of course, Mike and Ali both talked a bit about the work we're doing in the underpinning of the platform itself. We've been talking about .NET Core now for almost 2 years, and it's a substantial re-architecture of the underlying platform. But you start to get a sense of what it's going to enable, and then a little bit around the UI framework and a little bit around the mobile components for those who are more techie and into that end of things. So
never a shortage of techie stuff at Acumatica. It's awesome.
Sorry, we also did the Autodesk announcement. I mean, that was fun. And so, sorry, I cut you off, Tim. Say it again.
Yeah, never a shortage of techie stuff at an Acumatica summit. Stuff, people like me, especially, we love that kind of stuff, and I love how you continue to deliver all those fun techie things that we eat up every time.
Yeah, and it is a major differentiator from us. We know, most of our competitors are more sales and services teams. We really are a tech company at our core. We're engineering. We love it. We build stuff.
Hey, I wanted to ask you a sustainability thing from this morning. You mentioned, if I understood it right, you were talking about the carbon footprint of Acumatica and how a big part of that carbon footprint is the summit, and especially the airfare, which I think is interesting that you include in that calculation of everyone coming to and from summit. And you mentioned that you purchase carbon offset credits. I think I understood this right, for everyone in attendance at summit. I don't know what that means. Could you help me understand what that is, a carbon offset credit?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's something that, I said has become an important thing for a lot of our customers. Our owners, EQT, are based out of Sweden, which I would say is a part of the world that's probably 5 years ahead of North America, at least some parts of North America, in terms of their thinking about the importance of a sustainable business environment for a sustainable planet. Yeah, I mean, Acumatica, right? We don't manufacture things, so we don't have. EQT also owns Dunlop Tire, and so once I sat through their sustainability analysis, and they have huge water usage and building rubber tires. It's a petroleum-based product. Acumatica, basically, we've got offices and we've got people working on computers, and there's a certain amount of electricity being used, but our company footprint is relatively small. And I talked about the one of the big benefits of moving from on-premise, legacy on-premise server to the cloud is you're reducing your company's environmental footprints and the impact 72%, at least for that part of your business. But servers take a lot of electricity. But when we looked at the aggregate environmental impact of Acumatica, what we quickly found is actually the summit is one of the biggest pieces. In fact, it is the biggest piece of our corporate impact. And so then we dug in on that, and it turns into, paper wastage. We looked at this from 3 years ago, paper wastage, food waste. And so we're doing a lot of stuff to reduce that. The paper waste by moving things digital, and the food waste by working with the local food banks and the local shelters. But then the single largest component is from 2,000 plus people getting on planes and flying here and then turning around and going back home. And some of the airlines now ask you when you buy your ticket if you want to purchase the carbon offset credit that goes along with that. And so you can calculate the carbon impact of a particular flight, and you can purchase. There's actually marketplaces out there for carbon offset credits, and so you can purchase those. And that's what we've done is we've purchased, we actually went even a little bit further, and we know where people are coming from because they registered. And so we can purchase the right amount of offsets to offset the entire conference there. And, this money goes to things where they're working with organizations that are doing things like planting forests that will absorb CO and drive oxygen and offset that environmental impact.
That's really cool. What about the summit in general? I mean, you pulled off 2 summits during a pandemic. Was that just business as usual, or was that an effort that went above and beyond?
Well, I would actually say it's 3 during a pandemic, and the first one we didn't really know yet, but the one we did in January 2020, right? I mean, the pandemic technically started. They've traced people all the way back to October that in 2019 now in California, and there was certainly COVID going on in January 2020. So we had a great summit there. We then looked at last January, and that was not the right time to be doing one. But by moving it out to the summer, we hit this amazing window where people were vaccinated and things were opening up, and we were able to do it outside. Doing this one, I think, has been above and beyond work for the team, just because now it's 2 and 6 months. And it's interesting. I mean, we've had about 2,000 people at each. And I think what you'll see at the next summit is you'll see us considerably over 3,000 is my prediction. Because I think what you'll see is most of the people who were at this summit are actually a different group than who were at the last summit. And, we've been noticing that, different customers, certainly newer customers, even different people from the partner orgs. The people who are here, what's exciting is the people who are here are people who really want to be here, right? You're not, casually getting on a plane and going to Las Vegas right now. People have been very respectful. Everyone's been masking up. I've got my mask right here. And we were able to do the party outside last night, and it was a lot of fun. I don't know if you saw some of the pictures from that. We of course missed you, Tim. So next one.
Well, I've enjoyed doing these interviews. It's given me a lot more comfort around making it to the next one, and gave me a way to participate these last couple summits. And thanks for all that you all have done to put on such amazing events, even in the midst of the pandemic. It's been great. And before I let you go, I also wanted to let you know on a little course that I launched last week. If you hear anyone who's looking for help with generic inquiries in Acumatica, I built a video training course with 42 lessons and over 5 hours of video training content specifically on building generic inquiries and pivot tables in Acumatica. So if you hear anyone looking for help there, I've got a course now that I can help people out, and want to take advantage of this opportunity to let you know about it.
Good.
So awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
hey,
generic inquiries are amazing. It's one of the most powerful things inside the product, and it is a real differentiator, right? And I mean, you can do generic inquiries on generic inquiries, right? And it's kind of mind blowing how powerful that is. And then of course you start talking about feeding it into pivot tables. So I think that's a great thing for you to be doing, and for people who aren't familiar with that to take a look at.
Yeah, I just happened to jump into a Dynamics 365 Business Central environment recently and was looking to do something like a generic inquiry for someone. And boy, it was a lot more difficult. So yeah, they really are. It's a techie thing, but it's also a critical piece to getting your information out. And yeah, I like working with them. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, Jon, thanks for taking a few minutes out of your
nickname.
Sorry,
I
go
was
ahead.
going to say our nickname for them our nickname for the generic inquiries is the Genius Inquiry. So there you go.
Hey, thanks for taking the time out of a busy summit schedule. I really appreciate it. Hope to see you next year.
Hey, it's great to see you, and all the people out there in the Acumatica user group land. Quite a few people are here, and I've been getting to say hi to a bunch of you. So we really appreciate the support as well, Tim.
Take care, Jon. We'll see you next year.
Adios.
Bob, thanks for being our last guest here on these interviews. You take it away by introducing yourself, who you work for, and what you do there.
All right, Tim. Well, hey, thanks for the invite. I'm Bob McAdam. I am co-host and co-founder of Enterprise Software Podcast, which you will find at enterprisesoftwarepodcast.com. I'm here with Todd McDaniel, who is on the phone, so you're stuck with just me today. And Darcy Borio is also on the team, but she is not here in Vegas. But we are here podcasting at Acumatica Summit 2022. This is our 4th consecutive summit for them. They've been very hospitable with us, and we're pleased to be here. And we're covering and meeting a lot of great people here at the Wynn in Las Vegas for the Summit 2022, and having a great time. So no complaints here.
Well, I like the fancy microphone setup you got there. Can you give us a tour of your podcasting booth there?
Well, yeah, it's not too much. We have, I'll send you a picture when we get done, actually. But we've got a big table in the front, and Acumatica was kind enough to put our logos on the table, both front and sides. And then a couple of tables that we're working from here with a mess full of wires and whatnot, and our broadcaster machine. And then the big sign here to the right makes up the backdrop. So we've been hanging out here in the main hallway. You know, people who walk to the keynotes and whatnot come right down this hall and go around the corner, and they pass us by, and we have lots of different people who stop by and say, "Oh, I want to talk about this or that," and want to give a special thank you to Kim Plank at Acumatica, as well as Bob Clancy, but mainly Kim, because she scheduled a bunch of interviews for us of Acumatica customers who have a great story to share, and in some cases have won awards. So we've met some really great people and talked to a bunch of happy partners as well.
And because of your location, did you get some people, it sounds like, who just dropped by and jumped on the podcast ad hoc like that?
Yeah. I mean, we try and vet them as best we can, see if they've got a good story. We don't want every ISV in the world over here, of course, right? We do have 4 great ISV sponsors, V Technologies, NetStock, Data South, and Repay. So they've all been here talking with us. And but we do have some people that stop by periodically and say, I've got a story about my Acumatica deployment, or how things are going, or how it's growing my business or whatnot. And we get a chance to talk to them. And sometimes it's a nice surprise. You hear a great story from somebody that you didn't know more than 10 minutes ago.
Now, I don't know if you go to other conferences and do the podcasting, but if you do, is that a kind of unique thing at Acumatica that everyone's so open, or is that just the way it goes at any venue?
I'd say, generally speaking, that's how it goes. We certainly want to promote the event and the development company by taking their interview folks who are all really good. But if we do come across somebody who walks up and says, I have a good story, or I'm the owner of a company that made a decision on Acumatica, and here's how it's gone, and I want to kind of brag on them, then we take advantage. So I do see that at other shows as well. People who have a good story to tell usually want to tell it, and that's always nice.
So how about your take on Summit in general? I listened to your enterprise software podcast, and that's where I've learned about, conference venues and what cities are good, what cities are not good. What's your take on the Summit this year from just a conference standpoint?
Okay, from a conference standpoint, it's really excellent. Todd would agree with me that the Wynn is an excellent conference site, probably one of the best ones. Beautiful venue right here on the Strip. Food and service have been excellent. Acumatica celebration at the XS nightclub, that's letter X, letter S nightclub, was really over the top, well done. So yeah, event-wise, this was a great pick, and I know it's going to be back here next year, and that's really great. No one's going to complain about having to come to the Wynn for a few days. Overall, as you know, they had to put off Acumatica Summit 2021 from January to July. So they had an 18-month gap between summits, and there was a lot to talk about because, of course, they were 6 months behind normal. Now they've placed themselves back into the January time slot. We only have 6 months worth of stuff to talk about. So, that doesn't mean they're not developing like crazy, and there's a lot to talk about, but it's not the same. So I did think that attendance was down a little bit from July, even though the weather here is certainly better than in July. In July they had 18 months worth, and now it's just 6, and attendance kind of reflected that.
Yeah, I was just actually, Jon Roskill just jumped on one of these interviews, and he was making the point that a lot of the people who came to this summit were not the same ones who came in July, because it just happened. And I like that they got back in the cadence, but yeah, I felt the same way about the keynotes. There's just not as much to talk about in the shorter time frame. I was kind of using the analogy of the NBA playoffs, when they had to push the NBA playoffs out, and then the next season a bunch of people got hurt because they didn't have as much rest, and kind of a similar thing. You're pushing yourself back into the normal schedule, but it's not quite on par with the normal cadence that that we're used to having.
Yeah, and not only did I would agree with that. Not only did they want to get back to January, which is a good slot for them, but they probably were hoping that last summer that by the time we got to the beginning of 22, you could have people from other countries come to the U.S. and go to the show, which obviously didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then, Clark County, Nevada, everybody's got their mask on. I'm supposed to wear it when I'm indoors. I don't have to have a vaccination requirement to be here, but they do want everybody wearing masks when they're inside. So generally speaking, people have been following those rules, and plenty of hand sanitizer around, and people are being smart. So, but yeah, I think the 6-month time frame certainly was a bit of a risk, but I think at the end they'll be glad they're back in late January, and I think the whole community will be as well.
How about from talking to people there, anything you learned about either Acumatica, the product, or just Acumatica, the ecosystem that you didn't know before?
Okay, so I talked to a developer, which, over my head for the most part, but he said that Acumatica is in the process of reconfiguring their user interface and the platform itself, and that in a couple of years it will be better, stronger, faster, which is nice. He was excited to hear about that.
Yeah, that was a big deal. A lot of people
Yeah.
have mentioned that .NET Core point, which,
Yeah.
for most ERP products wouldn't even be on the radar of any
True.
type of keynote, right? And it just kind of
Right.
speaks to the geekiness of the Acumatica crowd that
Yeah.
everyone's really enthusiastic about that.
Yeah, certainly the developer I talked to from one of the partners was excited about that, even though it's probably 2.5 years away. He was excited. He feels like they're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, it's cool stuff.
I also thought that the acquisition of Imperium Property Management from Integrated Business Systems was a big deal. It just shows they're adding, another vertical market here. And Roskill said that 85% of new license sales last year were based on industry additions. So people are clearly clamoring for that, and they're responding by getting into the property management biz. That's pretty good.
I wanted to get your take on this. I have like a little concern with the number of additions that are now going out. Now you got property management. It
Right.
almost starts to feel to me, at least from a marketing standpoint, that it's almost like, maybe not marketing, but product development, that it's almost like having multiple products in your portfolio. Not quite, because you really do only have one product. I think that's
Right.
the benefit of it. But
Yep.
what's your take on that? Does it feel at all like multiple Dynamics products? Do you get that vibe at all?
No, not really. I don't think it that way. I mean, it's good to see that they're focusing on certain verticals that make sense for them. You certainly have good ISVs out there that bring a lot of value to the table as well. So I'm hoping that, while they're going to continue to add these verticals, they'll also, try to bring more ISVs into the fold and really help round out the product as a whole. My longtime friend, Foy Maynor, is business development manager for ISVs here at Acumatica. And, Foy's been an ISV himself. He knows what the value is. And I'm hoping he can recruit some really good ones so that you have a strong core product as well as strong ISV community filling gaps where needed.
So we know attendance in general was about the same as July. Did you get a feel for a number of ISVs who were there? Was that about the same as well?
I would say attendance wise, they were slightly lower than July, not by a lot, but some. And I would say the number and the expo hall in general was a little bit larger than in July. So you had a lot of ISVs returning, but you've got some new names in there too. So
it makes it hard to tell when the room's not the same size, how many there are. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Certainly the expo, there was fewer places to sit down and eat than there were in July. So you could tell they had more booths in there. And they had some people some of the newer folks were on the wall, the smaller the pop-up booths that they had. So, but yeah, the expo was definitely a busy place. Having the food and the expo in together, that's always a good combo. And it was quite large.
I got to ask you, were you in Las Vegas already for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers football game, or did you watch that back at home?
I flew in really early on Sunday because I knew there would be football on, and we had to get our booths set up, because we didn't want to do it Sunday night. So I was up at like 3 Eastern, landed here 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, met Todd, got the booth set up, and then put my jersey on and watched a great comeback, run amok at the very end.
That was incredible. That was amazing.
And speaking of that, I watched the Bills-Chiefs game right after that in my hotel room, and I think it was eBiz Charge had a big TV in their booth, and they had the game on. So like, if anybody got a ton of leads on Sunday, it was them
Yeah,
because
that's smart.
everybody in the expo was watching the Bills Chiefs game, and looking at the last 2-3 minutes, nobody was moving. So I kind of wish I'd been in the expo Sunday evening around 6:30 Pacific, because it was rock. It was like a sports bar instead of an expo hall.
That is a great ISV tip for the Acumatica Summit. It's always around this time every year, NFL playoffs.
Get your
Sunday
TV
night.
in the booth hooked up to whatever system you need, and bring the football fans in, because they're gonna the way that game ended. Nobody left that booth. Nobody. Brilliant.
That is
setup.
brilliant. Anything else you picked up there from Summit that you want to share?
Not really. We did hear that it's going to be back here at the Wynn next year, which is nice. Again, a beautiful venue and a really nice place to come. Attendance may have been down a little bit from July, but the enthusiasm and momentum here is good, right? Partners are happy, customers are happy, people are asking good questions. So I feel like, maybe, the 6-month thing, not the best scenario, certainly. Once a year is a good time to have a customer event, but they'll be back on track in 23, and I don't think they'll have missed much of anything. So, coronavirus has thrown lots of wrenches into everybody's life. So,
Sure.
I think by next year, hopefully, we'll be through this mess. People can come out here without a mask and without much worry, and enjoy the event and get smarter on Acumatica and enjoy the company of others who are here for the same reason.
Awesome. Well, hey, I'm looking forward to listening to the Enterprise Software podcast episodes that you guys put out from all the interviews at Summit. And thanks for taking the time to jump on this interview as well.
All right, Tim, happy to support you and the AUG forums, and thanks for your support of Enterprise Software Podcast. It was always a pleasure.
Hey, I hope to see you out there next year.
Oh, plan on it. This place is fabulous. I plan to be here.
All right. See you,
Take
Bob.
good care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, that's it for now. We'll catch you on the next episode of AUGforums.com Real Talk. Thanks for listening, and take care.